heraldry, and the growth mindset. This is what we worked on the previous meeting, which is what you saw culminating in the video. We then, as Trish has just pointed out, had to decide which principle of the engage, connect and grow it best fitted with. Well, growth mindset, it was pretty easy, this one, which is why we've chosen to model this one. If it didn't fit most strongly with the growth principle, then we possibly shouldn't have been looking at it. What we then did was looked at the theory itself, and we had to come up with a statement. We'd written a number of phrases here, but we had to come up with a statement, a full sentence statement that summarised why we believed it best fitted with that principle. Dweck's theory of growth mindset aligns with the growth principle because intelligence can be developed. The theory and principle rely on embracing challenges, effort as a path to mastery, and perseverance in the face of setbacks. And we felt that that's what growth was all about. First step, decide which principle you think it most aligns with, and then construct a formal statement.
And that statement will actually have what the principle's about as well as what the theory is about. You've got to find what it is that actually makes them connect. So in this case, you might even be able to use the sentence that we have here, that the theory and the principle rely on, or the theory and the principle
Believes.
Yeah, there's something that's going to connect those two together to help you construct that descriptive statement.
What we then looked at, which was what it looks like strategies, and we broke this up. Again, a number of you had put dot points in the last meeting, but hadn't necessarily compiled them in any set order. So what we did was we will look at what will the students be doing, because we believe this principle. What will it look like at St. Therese? And when we look around, what will we see the students doing? What will we see the staff doing? What will be the parental, sorry, I'm doing the summary first. What will be the parental involvement? And then the last point is how will these strategies be supported? So what will the students be doing? The students will operate out of a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Students will embrace challenges rather than be discouraged by them. Students will see effort as the path to mastery. Students will be inspired by the greatness in others.
Now this example will be there, like it's the one document, so the growth mindset is the first example there, so if you need to go back to it to cross-check anything that you're doing and what's next, that as an example will be helpful.
So what will staff action look like? Staff will operate out of a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Staff will provide challenging experiences for the students. Staff will praise effort and attitude in learning. And what will parental involvement look like? Parents will praise the efforts of students rather than the product. Parents will value resilience as an important component of a growth mindset. What will these strategies be supported by? Staff will be coached in the language of providing timely, personal and relevant feedback. And parents will be educated in the notion of growth mindset and resilience. So we're not expecting this to fall out of thin air. That there is background to this to ensure that it is implemented here at St. Therese.
And there's a bit of a wish factor to it, a dream factor to it, in terms of when you're describing what you expect parents to be doing, because that may not necessarily be the case, but it is the wish list of how we would like it to be for what we want to achieve here with students in their learning.
In that section, our statement was that Garth Boomer's theory of negotiated curriculum aligns with the engagement principle because he believes that without engagement, the quality of learning will suffer. We also put that the theory and principle rely on the power of the children to learn through inquiry, experience and negotiation. What this looks like, the strategies, what will students be doing? We've got that the students will be active learners, that they're acting, not acted upon, that students will ask questions about their learning experience, and that relates back to the promotion of the children's understanding about how they learn. We've got that students will embrace challenges through the choice and the negotiation that they have with the teacher or the staff. What the staff actions look like. Staff will negotiate and plan the curriculum and activities with students. Staff will ensure that students have ownership of their own learning. The staff will provide a range of opportunities for the student to be active learners. The staff will be flexible, not rigid. Staff will ensure that students are continually engaged in the learning. And finally, staff will promote collaborative learning groups. What will the parental involvement look like? We've got that parents will value the importance of the inquiry process, not just like the final product, looking at how the whole process works. That they will actually have the opportunity to see the inquiry process in action at home. Parents will work in collaboration with the students and the teachers to promote and value the inquiry process. Strategies that will support this, the professional learning that teachers will have, and the trust and the freedom to explore that is with the students and the teacher.
The engagement principle, because children are encouraged to discover for themselves through their interaction with the world. What this looks like, the students will be creating products and artefacts. They will progress through 4 major stages of cognitive development: sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational and formal operational. They'll engage in manipulation and exploration of concrete materials and the world around them. They'll learn by trial and error, and they'll use their knowledge then of their understanding of the concrete world and apply it to abstract concepts. The staff actions, they will determine what stage the students are at, provide appropriate learning experiences that allow children to build upon their current level of cognitive functioning. They'll provide opportunities for the students to manipulate and explore concrete materials. They'll encourage students to interact and experiment with the world around them, and they'll accept individual differences within the development progress. The parents, they will need to understand that students explore and learn through trial and error, and they'll also have to know that they progress through the 4 major stages of cognitive development. And the strategies will be supported by professional development for the staff, provision of resources to allow the exploration and manipulation of concrete objects, and professional development for parents to inform them of this style of learning.
The connection principle, because it's all about making a connection between the students and the teachers. It was saying that through the 6 C's you can teach a student to then function in society, so about that growth for the future. What will students be doing? They'll be problem solving, thinking critically about a task, collaborating with others, and having the respect for the ideas and opinions of others. It's about using their imagination and communicating through a variety of mediums, so oral, written, digital, which is what we're seeing come up in the new curriculum. Students will see themselves as members of a global community. So it's about working with partnership, really. What staff will look like, they have to be active. We're saying active in the classroom and see themselves as taking part in that learning process. And the big thing that came up was consistent practice. So if we are going to take on this theory, then it needs to be consistent across the whole school, and all teachers need to take part. And it had staff will act on their values and they are role models through their actions, so it had honesty and empathy, and teachers have to challenge students to be critical thinkers. For parents, how they're involved, they have to see themselves as being part of that common goal. It can't just be left up to the teachers to do that with the students. It's about parents providing students with those real world situations that they can then bring back to the classroom. So we're talking about, going to the zoo and things like that and having that prior knowledge. We said how these strategies will be supported, mentoring, so staff joining us for the first time. Through mentoring, everyone can be part of that common practice. And we're talking about, like RAMP, with classroom observations and reflections, we can make sure that everyone is doing the same thing, and where things can be fixed, we do that.
The main one with this co-construction of knowledge, students will work primarily in groups. We could expand that to, they're not necessarily same ability groups, but that it's problem solving based, and that you must interact and everybody must contribute to the problem solving. In terms of staff, staff will dialogue with their students. It has to be an interactive process. It's not a one-way street.
what this looks like, what the students will be doing, is students will be involved in situations which allow all their senses to become vivid. What will staff actions look like? Staff will actually, we thought the first one, staff will facilitate learning that involves touch, light, vibration, sound, movement, and higher order tasks. Staff will also praise the effort rather than the end product. What will parental involvement look like? Parents will be educated in this particular theory, and parents will also be encouraged to praise the effort rather than the end product again.
We looked at the Daughters of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, the Scalibrian Order and St. Therese of Lisieux, and we wanted to look at what influenced their daily lives. So we came up with a sentence for each of those. The ideas team have already created the introduction to that, so I'll start with that. We are inspired by the love of our rich history and challenged by the courage and the contributions of our religious founders. We are guided by the spiritual gifts of the Daughters of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, the Scalibrian Order and St. Therese of Lisieux. We follow the example of the Daughters of the Sacred Heart by showing love, compassion and kindness. The Scalibrian Order teaches us to foster cultural harmony within the school and to demonstrate empathy for those who have relocated from across the world. And the Little Way of St. Therese encourages us to live simply, act with love and courage and do little things well. This needs to be a union between all members of the school community. On behalf of Gissel. And we feel very love and courage.